Bluey is a show that's entertaining for people of all ages. Of course, its target audience is children, but it has a pretty large adult fan base as well. These older viewers have noticed a lot of details that a child might miss, leading to many theories about the show becoming popular among fans. In this video, I'll be going over 7 of the most popular Bluey theories and rating how likely I think they are to be true on a scale of 0 to 5. Number 1. Bandit and Chili are international smugglers. This is probably the most popular Bluey theory, and I'm sure many of you have heard this one. The basis of this theory is that the Healers are a lot richer than they should be. They have a sizable home with a beautiful view of the city and are raising 2 kids. In their Bluey.tv bios, it's stated that Bandit is an archaeologist and Chili works at airport security. If they both made an average salary for their occupation, then it seems impossible for them to afford their house. Maybe Chili's knowledge of airport security allows Bandit to sneak artifacts across international borders where they can be sold on the black market for potential millions. Well, maybe they both just have important positions at their jobs and make a lot more than the average worker. Unfortunately, we have yet to see Chili working in the show itself, so we can't say if she makes more or less than your average airport security worker. Bandit, on the other hand, has been shown working in episodes like Yoga Ball, Curry Quest, and in the short Archaeology. In Curry Quest, Bandit has to go away to an excavation site for 6 weeks. It's clear based on Bingo's reaction that this doesn't happen very often. Obviously, there's a lot more to archaeology than just digging stuff up, but it would seem at first that Bandit isn't going to be one of the higher paid archaeologists if he digs as infrequently as the show leads me to believe. However, this is where the archaeology short comes in. In it, Bandit claims to have discovered the only known fossil of the first dog to walk upright. This would be a huge discovery that would make headlines around the globe, and it would no doubt make Bandit the most famous archaeologist in the world. Some have called into question the canonicity of the short, and I could see it either way. If it is canon, then I think it could explain the wealth of the Healers. Overall, it's a pretty interesting theory. I just think that accusing Bandit and Chili of being international criminals is a bit of a stretch, so I'll give this theory a 2 out of 5 on the likeliness scale. Number 2. Bluey is not the first Healer baby. Another wildly popular theory is that Chili had a miscarriage before having Bluey. The first major piece of evidence supporting this is in the show, in which Bingo accidentally pops a balloon meant to represent Bluey before she was born. The way Bandit immediately goes to comfort Chili and her reaction in general made a lot of people think that something was up. Another episode said to hold evidence for this theory is Sleepy Time. In the episode, we see Bluey and Bingo hatch out of Venus and Earth respectively. With Chili being represented by the sun, it would make more sense if her first and second children were the 2 closest planets to her. But they're not. Mercury is left unhatched. Could this represent a baby before Bluey who was never born? Personally, I don't think so. I think that Bingo hatched out of Earth because it would look the coolest and allow Floppy to hatch out of the moon, which wouldn't work as well with other planets. Then, Mercury had to be left unhatched so Bingo could sit on it and embrace the warmth of the sun. In the Season 3 episode Onesies, it's revealed that Chili's sister, Brandy, can't have kids of her own. Maybe struggles with fertility runs in the family. It's circumstantial evidence, but it definitely makes this theory a lot more interesting. Even though I don't think Sleepy Time supports this theory, the reactions to the balloon popping in the show and the knowledge that Chili's sister can't have kids is enough to make me give this theory a 4 out of 5. Number 3. Bingo has a gluten allergy or celiac disease. This one is pretty simple. In Daddy Drop-Off, Bandit is put in charge of packing the kids' lunches for school. As he does this, he says one of the lunches is gluten-free and the other is gluten-not-free. Just from this scene alone, it's pretty much confirmed that one of the kids is gluten intolerant. So why is the consensus that Bingo is the one who needs a gluten-free lunch? Well, in Bumpy and the Wise Old Wolfhound, Bingo has to stay in the hospital for at least a few days, as indicated by the many get-well-soon cards and the doctor saying they'll keep her for another night. It's never stated why Bingo's in the hospital, all we know is that she's sick with something. In Markets, we do see Bingo eating a sausage in a bun, but this episode came before Bumpy, so maybe nobody knew about her condition yet. Besides that, I can't think of a time the girls ate foods that would normally have gluten in them. In Mini Bluey, both Bingo and Bluey eat from the same loaf of bread, so that doesn't help us. I'll give this theory a 3.5 out of 5. One of the kids is definitely unable to eat gluten, but I'm not sure it's Bingo. The way they talk about sickness in Bumpy makes me feel like Bingo was in the hospital with something more like the flu or some other virus. Number 4. Grandpa Bob is dead. In the Season 1 episode Grannies, Bob makes his debut. He bumbles around, learns how to floss, and then is never heard from again, except for the flashback in Fairy Tale. We see Nana appear multiple times after this in episodes like Charades, Escape, and Handstand. Bob, however, is nowhere to be found. Even in Christmas Swim, where the family is supposed to all be together, Bob is absent. Even Rad and Frisky show up, albeit by video call. So why did he show up once and then never again? Well, in the episode Bedroom, Bingo says, "Goodnight, Grandpa Bob, wherever you are." This means that we aren't just seeing instances where Bob wasn't around, he has been gone for a long time. It seems pretty likely that he died sometime shortly after Grannies. However, series creator Joe Brum has stated that Bob is alive, effectively killing this theory. 0 out of 5 on the likeliness scale. He's not dead, which is good, but I just hope we eventually get an explanation for why he was gone for so long. Number 5. Brandy met Bandit in Fairy Tale, not Chili. This theory aims to construct a series of events that would account for both Bandit and Chili's memories of how they first met. At the end of Fairy Tale, Bandit meets a young Chili. Or does he? Chili has no recollection of this interaction, believing instead that they first met at a party in London years later. However, she did go to the same caravan park with her family as a kid. Perhaps Bandit actually met Brandy, Chili's sister. For this to be true, the flashback would need to be how Bandit remembers it and not how it actually happened. The fur patterns match up with Chili too perfectly for it not to be her if this is what really went down. This episode just being a memory could also explain why Bob's design looks so different. Maybe Bandit forgot what his dad looks like. It's definitely possible that Bandit is just misremembering the fur patterns, but I personally think it's more likely that Chili just forgot. The interaction wasn't anything particularly special, so even if it was Chili, I'm not surprised that she forgot. Overall likeliness, 2 out of 5. Number 6. Judo's parents are divorced. Both Judo as well as her mom Wendy are characters that we've seen a pretty good amount of so far. However, we know absolutely nothing about Judo's dad. Now this by itself doesn't mean her parents have split up, but many have pointed out that Wendy's strong, independent personality could be an indicator that she's a single mother. She definitely doesn't seem like the type to need help, instead opting to do everything herself. In the episode Sticky Gecko, Bluey is nervous about going out and seeing Judo because it's been a while since they last saw each other. But if they're next door neighbors, why would they have not seen each other in so long? Perhaps Judo was away at her dad's house, and that's why she's been gone. Also, in the episode Dirt, there are only 2 toothbrushes in the bathroom, further suggesting that only Judo and Wendy live there. I think this is one of the more likely theories in this video. I just think it's strange that Judo's dad has never once been mentioned or shown, which is why I give this theory a 4.5 out of 5 on the likeliness scale. Number 7. Bandit and Chili separated for a bit after Bluey's birth. The final theory of this video states that Bandit and Chili spent some time apart before the start of the series. The first episode of Season 2, Dance Mode, has a scene in which Bandit has to change the address on his driver's license. Why does he have to do this? He isn't moving anywhere, he continues to live in the Healer house with the rest of his family, so he has to be changing the address to the Healer house, not from it. So he must have moved in pretty recently, right? Well, in Baby Race, we see Bandit help Chili raise Bluey in their current house. So either Bandit waited about 6 years before changing his address, or he moved out of the house in between Bluey's infancy and the premiere of the show. Bandit's commitment to games is often cited as evidence for this theory on the grounds that he wants to make up for lost time. Although the situation with the driver's license is really odd, I just don't see this theory as very possible. Of course, it could be true, but Bandit seems like a really committed father in Baby Race, and I don't think him leaving his family fits at all with his character. Maybe he had to move away for work or something, but the idea of him and Chili splitting up gets a mere 1 out of 5 from me. Honestly, I think that most of these theories aren't true. Still, it's fun to talk about them and see how they can explain aspects of the show that don't make a lot of sense. Let me know what you think about these theories, and comment any you think I missed. I found a lot of theories about Bluey, so I might make a part 2 eventually. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe.